Hello and welcome back everyone. Today's episode is Photo Stories, where I talk about a photo with kind of a compelling narrative, I think, of how I took the shot, but I simply did not record any kind of video or B-roll to go along with it. So today's episode is actually about a red barn at a local park that I've been to for many years. It's called Phillips Park, and it's a very just beautiful, bright red ornamental barn, like a lot of classic, Ohio barns are. And it has this nice beautiful white silo that's right beside it, and it's just a nice view when you're driving right by this park, just right there at the roadside. And so yeah, I've been going there for many years, and for this trip in particular, I had this shot in mind at sunset, and it's a shot that I've had for a few months now actually. Just something that I've kind of just kept in the back of my head of taking it, probably in like a spring or summer kind of setting, when you got some nice beautiful green foliage and the green grass just surrounding this entire barn. And so, yeah, I've set out basically at evening and dusk, just about a little over an hour of daylight left before true sunset. And I actually cycled there because I live very close by. Yeah, I just basically got there and set up my gear at a 24mm wide angle lens. That's a prime lens, in fact. And I just had my camera body and my tripod, and that's it. I just kept it really nice and minimal gear, so I don't have to really fuss with anything at all. And I just propped up the tripod, all the gear, everything, onto the scene here in front of me, and I just started working the angles. I started with actually the back side, which meant that the whole entire back side was just illuminated and front lit with that golden hour light as it was creeping lower and lower towards the tree line on the horizon. So yeah, I really like those shots, just really nice warmth and glow to it, of course, because of golden hour. And just trying out the working the angles. One thing I actually learned from more recent, I guess, architectural kind of style shots like this, like photographing covered bridges and other kind of landmarks, is that you have to keep everything nice and level. And fortunately, my Canon EOS 80D has a built-in electronic level that can keep everything so that the camera body and everything in the scene, at least for this building structure, would actually stay level, and that there wouldn't be any perspective distortion, of course. So that's something, a little factor I tried out, and I had to really, it was a little bit of a challenge, I guess, to just keep everything nice and level, so that, also with the horizon line surrounding the barn, to make sure everything looked nice. But other than that, yeah, it was a really nice, kind of simple session. Probably spent about, 45 minutes up to an hour, pretty much that last hour until sunset just completely stopped for the night. But yeah, I worked the angles. I did the other side as well, which I found by the roadside there was actually very nice, because it had this nice blue and white striking flag, simple kind of shaped design onto the side of that face of the barn that you can clearly see and visible from the roadside. So I pretty much got close to the road there, pretty much hugged the curb, and tried out some shots there as well. And then I kept stepping further and further back so I can accompany more of the landscape surrounding it. Not that it really was the most scenic necessarily, but like it just looked nice, having a nice kind of sense of scale and place inside that landscape, of course. So I tried out a lot of those kind of shots, just really backing up into some kind of tall grasses that were situated at the end of the park and the border of it, really, before I hit some housing development in someone's backyard. So I tried out those shots. Just beautiful golden hour light, just adorning the tree lines, sweeping behind the barn there as well, which just illuminates the entire scene, of course. Minimal cloud coverage, so it was really nice blue and just beautiful sky up above, of course. And so yeah, it was just really nice to finally get the shot and kind of work the angles. Just doing a classic wide-angle landscape, of course. And I really like how they turned out. It's really nice just working with that subject matter in nice sunset light, of course. Some other challenges, though, were there's a lot of cars, because there's a small pond right situated next to the barn, and so they were all kind of just there parked with their cars right next to the barn and surrounding it in the gravel lot, which meant I had to clone those out later in post-production, which obviously I don't really necessarily want to do, of course. Spend more time in front of the computer editing, of course, when I could be going out and shooting. So that was just one little challenge I had to really kind of work with. At one point, there's a truck that was like right beside the white silo, and I situated myself just right angled where there's an evergreen pine tree just standing out there in the middle, right next to the silo. And I just positioned myself so that way the truck was completely obscured by that pine tree. So that's just, you kind of have to work with the conditions in the scene in front of you. I really wasn't going to go up to these people and ask them, pay them even to leave, because this is such a close location. I could clearly go back and just rework the scene once again. Light, works out and plays out in my favor. So I really wasn't too upset about that because I still liked the shots I did get just working with the conditions in front of me. And yeah, they worked out pretty well. And then on my way out back to the trails and back home, of course, cycling, I took another kind of classic pose and angle that kind of harkens back actually to one of my earliest images of me taking this exact same angle, the exact same barn too, I think about 5 years ago now. So one of the earliest shots, and it was kind of nice to just kind of go full circle and just try out that kind of angle in the composition once again. So yeah, it's a very familiar barn to me. It's very close to where I live, and it's pretty nice to finally get its proper treatment in front of the camera. So yeah, pretty much sums it up though. So really enjoyed the shots. Very just beautiful color saturation, and it's a great subject matter of course too. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, hope to see you in the next video.